So last week the new episode of Amazing Digital Circus came out, and I'm here to talk about it. Sorry I didn't post it last week. I suddenly got sick. I don't know what happened. I was feeling perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden I was just sick, so I'm pretty sure I have the weakest immune system that any person could possibly have. But now I'm at least here to talk about it, so here we go. The episode first starts off with Pomni surrounded by the others, and she's trying to hold her breath. Weird things happen whenever they hold their breath, and they can't technically die by doing that, but she still hates doing it. Kane sends them on an adventure, but of course Zubul stays behind, and then Pomni and Kinger get separated from the group going to look for Gangel's mask, which Jack's through. They find some old tapes describing the lore of the manor, which was amazing. The manor was really good. It was spooky, and I love haunted houses, so this was already pretty great. Meanwhile, Kane is looking for Zubul, and they start having a therapy session, which Kane is the worst therapist in my last video. I was like, I don't know if Kane will be a good therapist, and he is not. Pomni and Kinger, they're getting attacked by a monster, which kind of looks like a monster from Doors, and a friend of mine who loves Doors agreed to that, so at least I'm not the only one who thinks that. The monster actually turns out to be an angel, and Pomni and Kinger are sent to hell, literally, because they tried to kill the monster, because they didn't know it was an angel, they thought it was a monster. And the guy on the tapes lied to them. But Ragatha and the others are having a great time. Well, just Ragatha and Gangel are. Jax is a bit tied up at the moment. He's not having too much fun. Then we get some Kinger lore after Pomni gets possessed. It's a packed episode. But, yeah. Kinger has a wife, which everybody already theorized this because her picture was on the doors, which we saw that back in episode 1. But he talks about his wife and how she abstracted and how the darkness kind of helps him remember things. But he and Pomni get out anyway, holding their breath, which I thought that the whole holding their breath thing might come back later in the episode, because I couldn't think of why else they would do it, and sure enough it did. They all get out, and Zubul and Kane's therapy session went just as well as you think it would. This episode is probably the best so far, in my opinion. I think it has the best pacing, the best character moments. There are a few small complaints I have, so I'll just go ahead and go over them right now. While this episode did have great pacing, there was just this one part that I think went on a bit too long. The part where the power turns out and all you can see are Pomni and Kinger's eyes. It's a good scene, I especially love the 2D animation, but it just goes on for too long. If that part was just a bit shorter, I think it would have been better, but that's just my opinion. While I do love the Zubul and Kane moments and the Kinger and Pomni moments, I do wish we saw some more of the cast in just like 1 or 2 scenes. I understand why, because there was a lot to go over in this episode, and they probably didn't have time to put in all the moments between these other characters, but I just would like to see more of them because I like those characters too. But again, I can see why this episode wasn't about Ragatha or Jax or Gangel. It was about Pomni and Kinger, and some of Zubul and Kane. Now on to some things I did like about this episode. I really like the scene between Pomni and Kinger where they're talking. I said in my last video how I was kind of worried that maybe it would be too similar to the scene with Pomni and Gummy Goo, but no, Kinger was the one who was actually helping Pomni, not the other way around. It was just really nice to see them like that, and Pomni probably needed that help, honestly. And she seems to be a lot more just thankful for everything she has. Like, she thanks Ragatha at the end because Kinger's like, oh, you should be thankful for what you have. You only have so long before it's all gone. So she's thankful for Ragatha for being there and being a good friend. Which, that's a good thing to hear because Kinger's right, honestly. Another thing was seeing more of Zubul that I liked because we got to learn more about their character, and they do seem to care about the other members of the circus, even if they don't show it. A whole lot anyway. Also, it feels like everything with Jack's character might, go up to something, because in the last episode he was upset because the adventure didn't go the way he wanted it to. And in this episode, he was just like, so, what was it like being stuck with the nutcase? And she's all like, oh, it wasn't that bad, actually. And he's just like, oh, okay. I feel like that might lead up to something with his character, something important happening. I don't know what, and I don't know if that will actually happen, or what episode it will happen in, if it does. But I just feel like it. I don't know. Let me know if you guys think something like that in the comments below. Also, Gangle had her comedy mask a lot longer in this episode. Not that much longer, but still longer, so that was nice. This episode has also made Kinger one of my favorite characters, and I know that's not an unpopular opinion, but it just proves that he's not really crazy exactly like Jack says. He's just kind of a broken character, and I've heard people say that already as well, and they're right. I kind of hope to see more of Pomni and Kinger because I like their character dynamic a lot. I don't know if we will in other episodes, but I hope Pomni does become like friends with Kinger. I think that's all I really have to say for this episode. I know I've made a lot of videos. My past 2 videos have already been about the Amazing Digital Circus, and now this one is, and I promise next week won't be about this. I've been thinking about doing the new Hello Neighbor episodes that came out. 2 of them already did this week, actually, and I've been wanting to talk about them, so next week my video will probably be about Hello Neighbor, and it fits since it's spooky season. But yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed. Until then, I will see you next week, and goodbye.